Hi, welcome to Timeline Recap. In today's video, we are going to talk about a Japan movie by name, Teen Regime. Tony's here. Warning, spoilers ahead. Heads up and stay safe. Not too far from now, Japan's economy has crumbled, and as a result, it is no longer included in the G7 club of the world's most industrialized nations. Since World War II, the unemployment rate has never been higher than it is now at 10%. A number of sizable conglomerates have filed for bankruptcy, and many more are expected to do the same in the near future. This is due to the fact that just 10% of people in Japan are between the ages of 16 and 30, and that more than 60% of the country's population is old. Prime Minister Washida has a strategy to address this issue. Taira Kiyoshi, a respected scientist and a member of the government, were able to assist. He created Solon, a future artificial intelligence. PM Washida wants Solon to take care of Japan since aging politicians are now corrupting the nation for their personal gain. But first, he demands a test run in a town of 150,000 residents. Project Utopi-AI is the name given to the entire endeavor, or just UA. Solon will be responsible for a number of things. She can monitor people's health state, provide answers to political issues, create intricate designs for new projects and more since she is a sophisticated AI. She has access to almost everything's database in UA City, which is stored throughout 3 humongous towers. There is a slight catch though. The AI can make suggestions and offer assistance, yet she is unable to make judgments or come to decisions. Humans with real sentiments are needed in this situation. Thus, PM Washida and Solon have chosen 4 promising young leaders who can advance Project UA. It is made public that the new mayor of the city is a 17-year-old. The student's name is Maki Aaron. As can be predicted, the news surprises a lot of people, but scientist Taira argues that youth have purer minds and finer eyesight. Be careful since they are also TikTok and Fortnite addicts. Therefore, they ought to be given the opportunity to run the UA city. Maki asserts that all he needs to do is choose. The AI Solon will handle the remaining tasks. Finally, Washida decrees that Taira would be in charge of the 4 youths in order to ensure efficient municipal administration. The following scene introduces us to Sago Asachi, a 17-year-old girl who loves to have fun. She seems to be a big Maki admirer and is happy to hear that he will be mayor of UA City. She receives a message from Maki himself when she is browsing the internet. When Sachi clicks on the link he has sent, they are both put on a video call. Without wasting any time, Maki offers her the position of personal assistant, which she immediately accepts. Here, we learn that they both belong to a Facebook community, which is how they met. Maki was pleased with Sachi's economic reports despite the fact that he had never met or spoken to her before. Later, a delighted Sachi informs her parents that they have been selected to relocate to UAE City. They will receive a lavish housing, well-paying work, and free medical care. Her parents, who were born and raised in Tokyo, are dubious of the scheme. They do, however, agree after Sachi goes on a 10-minute rage. The scene then jumps forward 3 months to the official opening of UAE City. Sachi travels there with her family and is astounded by the advances in technology. Each of them receives a set of smart glasses that allow them to read other people's descriptions, use the internet, access the city's database, view educational movies, and other things. Sachi gets picked up by Taira as her family is soon on their way to their new home. Along the way, he introduces her to other areas of the city and gives her a rundown on some of her duties. She will need to support Maki in every choice he takes. Should I choose the Vegeta or the Goku scan? Do I need to apply a filter on this selfie? They eventually arrive at a structure that appears old but is, surprise, extremely recent. Inside, it is shown to be Maki and his cabinet colleagues' new parliament. When Sachi first sees her idol, she is rendered speechless. The first cabinet meeting then starts immediately. Maki, who is a confident person, says that all of their meetings will be televised live. He asserts that in order for this effort to succeed, they must be as transparent as possible. Taira, who is watching everything, believes the idea is crazy, but he stays silent. The meeting broadcasts live shortly after the AI Solon turns on the cameras. Maki gives his first address as millions of people eagerly listen. He vows to find a method to bring happiness to every single person of UI City. However, his first decision is a controversial one. He proposes that they disband the city council as it is using up a lot of money. Solon also concurs with the statement, and she shows various stats which reveal that the general population will be 4% happier if the city council is abolished. Despite this, Maki leaves the decision to the public. A voting poll is conducted and over 70% of the people vote in favor of Maki's decision. This acts as the final nail in the coffin and the city council is officially abolished. Tyra worries that Maki will control the UA city in an absolute dictatorial fashion as the meeting continues. However, Solon has still another answer for this. She suggests a global voting mechanism that will display the proportion of supporters of Maki. If that proportion falls below 30% at any point in time, he will be relieved of his duties. This notion appeals to Maki as well, and then his rule starts. He gives yet another motivational speech that evening, raising his approval rating from 43% to over 50%. But before he can finish, he says that he's also considering terminating the government employees. This is because the AI is essentially in control of everything and doesn't require anyone's help. The announcement is not favorably received by the thousands of government employees in UAE City, as was to be expected. Maki's approval rating therefore falls to 41%. The initiative is equally as disappointed in Tyra and a few other ministers, but they are unable to stop it until PM Washida steps in later. The only location where youngsters like him is where Maki, the mayor of UAE City, is. He meets Sachi, another student there, after his classes are finished. They chat for a while and we get to know that Maki is an orphan who lost both his parents when he was young. When they reach outside, Tyra is waiting for them. At first, he takes Maki to a fancy store and buys him a new pair of shoes. The teenager, who has never received any presents throughout his life, gets emotional by the kind gesture. Later, the three head to a government store to conduct a survey. As soon as the employees notice Maki, they berate him for his harsh decisions and call him a dictator. The teenager attempts to justify it by saying that it would save a lot of money that can be used to other areas. Additionally, he predicts a 10% increase in their satisfaction score over the next 3 years. The irate workers, however, are having none of it and yell at him to just go. Tyra drags him outside against her will and argues that it is impossible to please everyone. The infrastructure minister, Honda, who is 25 years old, is meeting with an investor somewhere in the parliament. The city's historic market will become the site of a sizable shopping complex. Their dialogue reveals that this strategy has been in development for more than 10 years. However, Honda is certain that they will succeed this time, while Maki and Sachi are traversing the city on foot. Maki notices several protest signs nearby, indicating that the residents are opposed to the notion of the mall. He thus shows them a video on the benefits of the shopping mall in order to help them comprehend. The neighborhood residents aren't happy, though. They worry that the new project would destroy the area's historical significance. Maki is very moved by these comments, and he begins to rethink the proposition. He and the other cabinet members held their usual meeting in the evening. Honda, the infrastructure minister, reveals that the concept for the mall has his approval, but to everyone's shock, Maki rejects it. He notes that the residents are not pleased about it because the development would obliterate a significant portion of their heritage. He then requests Solon to provide options. The latter offers 3 sustainable solutions as the world's brightest AI. They are both modern and classic while yet being practical and sophisticated. All 3 are given Maki's approval, and she holds an election to see which one will win. They choose the most conventional one because the majority of the city's inhabitants are older. Honda and the investors are furious about the choice, but the villagers are happy. Maki's approval rating rises to 61% the following morning as a result. Maki again brings up the subject of terminating government personnel later that day, during the cabinet meeting. He wants to free up some money to invest in other areas. Then he asks Solon to suggest some effective methods for carrying out the procedure. The AI comes up with 3 solutions in a couple of seconds. After reading them all, Maki decides that he will choose the third one, which will result in an approximate 10% rise in the happiness index over the next several years. According to the report, they plan to terminate half of the workforce. Once more, Honda is opposed to the proposal and says that the sacked workers would lose their jobs, but Maki assures him that he will give them something. Unfortunately, the locals reject the plan and begin to vote against him. Maki tries to cheer them up by telling them that he will interview every government worker that Solon fires. He will restore them if they can persuade them that they are helpful. This message marks the start of the procedure. Thousands of employees are deliberately chosen and let go by Solon. The mother of one of them is Sachi. The scenario then transitions to an interview where Maki, a teenager, is listening to numerous adults whine. They all claim that they are too old to pick up new skills, and as a result, they won't be employed anyplace. While Maki understands their plight, he also refuses to change his mind. For a month, Maki attends each and every one of the interviews. Additionally, he encounters Sachi's mother, one of the select few workers to accept their resignation. Maki's approval rating falls to 34% by the time the interviews are over, but he maintains his position. Taira takes Maki on a stroll that evening as they talk about their personal lives. When asked why he decided to become a politician, Maki begins outlining his past. He admits that he was frequently bullied and mistreated as a youngster. His parents abandoned him when he was young, and he had no friends. But Yuki, a girl who entered his life one day, helped him feel better. The two grew close and began spending the majority of their time together. She tragically died in an accident at the age of 10. Although Maki was unable to heal her, he promised to make a permanent alteration so that everyone might live happily. When the two eventually get at the parliament, Maki collapses unexpectedly from tiredness. He is taken to a hospital right away, where the medical staff informs him that he will recover in a few days. Somewhere, when Sachi can't locate Maki in his room, she starts looking all around. Behind his library, she discovers a hidden space, and when she goes inside, she discovers something startling. It comes out that Maki has made an artificial intelligence, AI, replica of his late friend Yuki. He thus spends the most of his time in the cellar. The following scene shows Maki waking up and discovering Taira lying next to him. He stated that all cabinet sessions would be pushed back by 1 week. Maki can take a break and think about various initiatives till then. But after only 2 days, he stands up and gives a speech. Maki claims that while he was ill, he came to the realization that while physical happiness is important, mental happiness is so much more so. He therefore proclaims that going forward, all residents of UA City shall receive free psychological treatment. This enrages the audience, which raises his approval rating. He talks about the new retail complex during the cabinet meeting that day. Maki chooses to implement certain changes after seeing that UA City's culture and traditions are gradually disappearing. He wants a designated location for holiday celebrations in the retail center. He also desires a park, a garden, a nursery, and a number of other locations that the elderly would like. This time, he has the support of even haughty Honda. There's only one little issue, though. The beach, which is owned by an old gentleman, is close to the region where the events would be held. He doesn't want to sell his land since he dislikes the new AI technology. Smokey chooses to visit the library in order to understand more about the historical customs. He spends hours researching before he and Honda go to the beach and talk to the businessman. As anticipated, the elderly guy doesn't change his mind. He castigates the boys instead for attempting to transform his city. Maki decides to give up after acknowledging the man's worry. But before leaving, he leaves a set of smart glasses that are loaded with many films of the typical holidays. He requests the elderly man to try it. The latter appears unconcerned, but after a little while, he grows bored and turns them on. He is surprised to see the holidays he was raised enjoying. He sheds happy tears as he remembers his younger years. However, Maki doesn't see his helper Sachi anywhere and decides to go to her house. The mayor is invited to supper at Sachi's parents' home, but they aren't overjoyed to have him there. But what Sachi witnessed in the basement hasn't left her scarred. She finds it hard to believe he made an AI companion for a deceased person. She contacts Tyra to inform her that she has decided to leave from her position as a result when she can no longer handle it any longer. She also says that she observed something in Maki's basement. Tyra and his assistant started searching the area as soon as they heard this. When they unlock the hidden door, they discover Maki's AI companion there. Honda is hosting a barbecue party with the other members of Parliament that evening. When Tyra joins them, Maki asks him if he located his hidden room before leading him to a nearby corner. Tyra remains silent, and this indicates that he has discovered the existence of his AI companion. Maki apologizes and says that he was just trying to chat to his closest buddy while sporting a dissatisfied expression. The following morning, Tyra's assistant learns that the AI is based on a woman called Yuki after she took some data from Maki's basement. She and her entire family passed away when she was 10 years old. It is revealed that Yuki's father had toyed with some influential individuals, leading to the intentional drowning of their automobile in a lake. Maki, on the other hand, meets with Yuki and informs her that they will no longer be meeting. PM Washida will dismiss him right away if he learns about this. Yuki, though, is unconcerned. She makes repeated requests for Maki to remain with her and exudes aggression. The former tries in vain to make her feel better. Just then, Tyra calls Maki to let him know they have to travel to Tokyo for a crucial meeting. This serves as the ideal justification, and Maki leaves without bidding farewell. But when he leaves, Yuki, who has finally begun to act independently, gets an idea. Before it's too late, she must save the city, she tells Sachi over the phone. She accuses the grown-ups of killing Yuki because she was not at fault. She now desires to drive all adults out of UAE City and, if possible, Japan. Being a good-hearted young lady, Sachi agrees to assist and goes to the basement. After asking her to put on the smart glasses, Yuki plays a video for her. She explains in it why adults need be eliminated in order to fulfill their goal and how they destroy their city. She requests that Sachi add all of her memories to the city's AI network. Sachi agrees to Solan's request once more, and she goes to one of the 3 buildings to upload the memories. And as soon as she does, the network of the entire city is compromised. Everybody's computers, TVs, and phones immediately begin playing a video. The world shown in the video is one where adults are gone and children are in power. Yuki also shows up and declares that the day will arrive shortly. She then disappears, and Solan then comes back to life. The public is outraged in the wake of the occurrence. Because their systems were compromised, they are very irate. Maki then goes live on air to defuse the situation. He presents everything as it is rather than inventing a tale. He says that the hacker who took control of Solan was an AI robot. When she was 10 years old, she passed away. Maki then extends his sincere regrets for the inconvenience. However, no one pays attention this time. They keep voting him down until he has a 29% approval rating. His tenure as mayor officially ends with this. A few days later, Saki comes up to Maki in school and apologizes for being so easily manipulated. Maki, though, expresses gratitude rather than anger. He claims that his resignation is a relief. The weight of being in charge of a city was beginning to weigh on his mind. Then Maki asserts that a 17-year-old should behave like a 17-year-old and not like an adult. Sachi feels slightly relieved after hearing this. The scene then jumps forward 3 years. Tyra is now the Prime Minister of Japan, and Honda is the new mayor of UA City. The city has undergone several revisions, yet the ideas Maki introduced remain the same. He will always be regarded as UA City's first mayor. On one evening, we witness a large crowd taking part in a beach event. It appears that the prior businessman has sold his land. Or perhaps they simply killed him. When Maki, Sachi, and a few other individuals light Chinese lanterns and let them float away. The movie ends. Please subscribe for more timeline videos like this. This is Timeline Recapped. Thanks for watching.